Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. Jared here with another review from Fanboys Forever. And today we're going to be having a look at the new Target exclusive Masters of the Universe Rise of Evil 2-pack. So this is one that people have been excited about for some time. Keldor has always been just a fascinating concept, I think, to a lot of people, particularly when he became popularized during the 2000X continuity. But Keldor was always an idea that was kicked around, especially near the end of the original Masters continuity in the toys. Of course, Keldor, He-Man's uncle, is Skeletor's original identity. And Cronus here, before he got messed up in this battle, is, of course, Trapjaw before he needed all of these cybernetic parts. You can see we have some terrific artwork up here at the top. Here we have a beautiful faux kind of painting of Keldor and Kronis, and in the clouds there you can see Hordak. As a matter of fact, it actually notes that he is an evil apprentice of Hordak, so I like that. And with Kronis here, it says he's an evil criminal from another dimension. Modern posing. Retro play! Ooh, I like this. It says Rise of Evil. And you can actually see the original forms of the evil warriors. I like this because we know that these are coming as regular releases. You can see we have even more terrific artwork at the back here. And this is showing you the battle that was actually played out in the 2000X series, or at least a form of this, where you had Keldor staging kind of a coup of his half-brother Randor and trying to overthrow him. And just love this artwork. Before Skeletor and Trapjaw, Keldor and Cronus terrorized Eternia in their quest for total domination. All right, and right here it shows the heads can be switched out. Really love that art. That's one of the most impressive things here is the artwork. And right here on the Rise of Evil art, you also have this little creature. And someone in one of the groups pointed out that this is one of the creatures that's down in the dungeon of Castle Grayskull. So that is really cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and open this guy up. Just a few thoughts while I'm tearing the packaging open. You know, I just love that these come in these big boxes. I think that's fantastic. It really does make these feel like true vintage items. And there's really nothing else on the shelf quite like it when you look around at the modern toy market. You know, and there's several things like this in the line now. And also the giant cards that say the deluxe items come on. That's also something of, I guess distinction would be the word. But it's just so cool to see just a big old box that's out on the toy aisle. It does give it a kind of special quality. And here's our two fiends right out of the package. And we'll go ahead and have a look at Kronis first. All right, so looking at Kronis, we can see that this is the original version of Trapjaw, and this was when he was just one of Keldor's lackeys. I do find it humorous that he's still wearing what seems like some kind of bizarre brace, even though he's not missing one of his arms. You can also see he has his funny helmet intact. His sense of fashion did not change before he lost his lower jaw. And let's start out with his head sculpt. I really, really like this, and the reason I do is because it seems very much like a vintage Masters head. It really does seem like something you would have seen back in the day, and perhaps if the line had continued in 87 or 88, then we would have seen something like this as they delved more into the time travel stuff, and the mini-comics were, of course, on the cusp of revealing that Keldor was indeed Skeletor. Looking on down, we see he's wearing the bright pinkish, reddish, purple fuchsia, we'll say, furry shorts. And you can see that he was still wearing the funny leg braces even before he became Trapjaw. He does have this really cool blaster weapon, like that a lot. And he has silver bands. Going on to the back, we can see that he has what looks like weapons storage back here. I suppose you could take the gun and perhaps you can stick that right there. And you can, of course, take it all the way through if you would like. And that will go on any of the three. And let's see if it goes in the middle. It's a little cumbersome to get in there. But yeah, you can definitely get some pretty cool weapon storage back there if you wish. And you can also use the handle that he holds the gun with. And that can go in there as well. So if you want that look. Not sure if I would keep it in there very long, though, because as you can already see, it's kind of making little indentions in there. So it's not something you would want to do long term, I don't think. So can this little harness come off of the chest? Yes. All you have to do is just unpeg the front. It's not glued in or anything, and you can just bring him down just to the blue chest. All these figures, of course, are modular, so the arms come right out, and you could easily undress the vest like that. Speaking of modularity, that means you can mix and match with the original Trapjaw. And here's Trapjaw getting his old yearbook out. We'll just do a quick comparison between these two guys. It's funny to see Keldor back there just like sneering. He thinks it's funny. Yeah, these two look great together. It's definitely cool to see that visual continuity between them. It's especially funny that his face turned green, the upper half. I suppose you get hurt enough, you know, just the gangrene sets in. He still likes his football helmet, though. That did not change. Let's go ahead and see what he would look like by switching the heads. Now, of course, with the Masters Origins line, all of the heads are totally interchangeable. And here we have the Cronus head on the original Trapjaw body. Looks kind of funny. And here we have the original Trapjaw head on the Kronis body, so that looks really cool. Overall, Kronis is really neat. It's definitely a figure that's more for people who are into the deep lore of Masters, and it's not quite as visually exciting as Trapjaw. But I still really like it, and it does the job of really looking like an actual old-school Masters of the Universe figure, so really cool. And next up, we have Keldor. So Keldor, of course, is Skeletor before he got his face burned off. They made some really cool choices here. One of them is the fantastic head sculpt. I mean, this is glorious. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Because there's no whites in the eyes, he kind of reminds me of an old-school cartoon character, which I think is really appropriate for this line and the vibe that it gives off. And it's also fitting because many of the male characters don't have whites in their eyes in the original Masters line. If you look at, say, the original He-Man head, and you can see that there's kind of a visual continuity there between them. I also really like the choice of painting the back crest on the chest. So you can see that it's actually painted green, which I really like, and it's a great way of differentiating him. I also like that they painted the jewel that so often goes overlooked, so that's awesome. Moving on down, he doesn't have demon feet. He has regular boot feet. He has bracers on his arms, which is more the traditional Eternian getup, I suppose. We also have a kind of phasing, transparent Havoc staff, and this is really cool. Love the transition and the plastics there, and it's done very, very well. He also includes a cape. So you can see it has a little rope there, and it's just your standard cloak in the back. Love the hair sculpt, how it just swoops down. And because he is a Gar, which is the blue race of people in Eternia, he has pointed ears as well. So loving this. The paint applications are very tight on he and Kronis, and so all of that is a very good thing. He also includes a power sword. Now, what's interesting is this is a whole power sword. It's not halved. I do like that it's phasing right here. So you have green on the end. You can see it's a little transparent. Then it phases down into the solid purple. Now, here's the one problem. He doesn't really want to hold this. So I'm not really sure what happened with the engineering. You can put it in the hand, of course, but it doesn't really want to stay. So it's like no matter how I pose it, it flexes back out like that. So that is a little unfortunate. Not really sure how to fix that, but it kind of stays for a minute and then it slides back out, but it still looks cool with him. And we'll have a look at Keldor beside of his future self. Here he is. Seems like no matter what form he's in, he's always smiling. Really like the visual continuity between these two. This is definitely more of your 2000X kind of style of color scheme, which I like because Keldor is so rooted in that continuity, even though that's not exactly where he's from. It's also really cool to see the transition between the two faces, as well as just the overall outfit. And of course, you'd have to look a little further down to see that the original has beast feet and Keldor has normal man feet. Now, or Gar feet, should I say. There he is with the Havoc staff so that we can see the change between those two. I'm liking that. So they look terrific together, and I think they would display very well. There's one more really cool accessory, actually. And I love this because they didn't have to do this for this set, but I think it increases its appeal quite a bit. And that's this terrific new Skeletor head. And I love this because it reminds me of that old
Alfredo Alcala artwork.
And what's cool is there's no like light piping or anything back here. There are just like reflective kind of gems in his eyes that give off this really cool glowing effect. And there's no kind of, electronics necessary. I think it works really well and seems like something that they might have actually tried back in the day. Let's go ahead and switch that out onto Keldor. Let's just see how that looks. So in the Masters of the Universe Classics continuity, the idea is that after Keldor gets his face burnt by a vial of acid, Hordak has to find a way to save his apprentice's life, and he ends up fusing him together with some kind of interdimensional, like skeleton alien being thing. And after he does this, it saves his life, but it also makes him less of a person, and I guess half demon. And that's why, of course, Skeletor gets the gnarly, like, beast feet and things like that, and, like, clawed hands. So that looks really cool, actually. Just visually, I think it looks fantastic. Now, of course, you could switch out the heads with the original Skeletor if you wanted, but it really wouldn't look too good because this purple is actually very different than this dark purple, and vice versa if you wished. But instead of doing all that, you can just take this cape off and you'll have the Skeletor from over here without the beast feet, so it's not like it's as necessary. Speaking of that, let's take the cape off, and you can get an even more traditional Skeletor this way. So I actually think that looks really unexpectedly quite good. So if you want a mini comics Skeletor, I think this is your ticket. And just so that you can see it, you can pop off the original Skeletor's head. And who is this handsome devil? Literally. It does look very funny. It looks like Keldor is on like a beach vacation, or maybe he's having a spa day. Despondos? Despondos? I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll get my furry shorts. Is your original Skeletor envious of the cool new cape? There you go. A mismatched dark purple cape. But it still looks pretty neat, especially because it's a cloak. You can kind of get away with it. So looks kind of nice, I guess. The back, yeah, looks all right. And of course, no review of these two guys could be complete without comparing them to the original Masters of the Universe Classics versions that we see behind us. It's really funny to think that we live in kind of a mixed up world where these guys are the new versions and the ones in the back are the original vintage versions of these characters. Yes, the Masters of the Universe Classics releases are, before these, the only versions of these. So, kind of funny, right? So, I don't mean to throw shade at other reviewers or other YouTubers because, we're all part of the same community and we all love toys, so there's no use in being like that. But I'm not going to just talk about this set and act like everything's hunky-dory and pretend like there's not a problem. The problem is distribution. And unlike some, maybe, and it's great that they do, but I don't get this stuff from Mattel. I don't get review samples. I am just like you, trying my very best to find this stuff and fight against scalpers, and it's a mess. And unfortunately, with this stuff, we thought we had gotten away from some of this trouble when it was no longer Walmart exclusive, and now it's more of a general retail thing. But this set is, of course, the latest example of the ultimate enemy of collectors, which is store exclusives. And I mean, none of us can stand them. And we understand why they happen. We know that they're an essential part of the business. We also know that it's a great way to get things that we usually wouldn't get. And this is, if there's anything, they could do a store exclusive of, this is really cool that they went to this level of specificity when it comes to, deep continuity. So that's awesome. But what's not awesome is how hard it is to find these guys. And what's not awesome is trying to overcome even treacherous Target employees, as recently the viral video has shown NECA Turtle stuff being taken by Target employees. We know that's not the majority of employees, but we know it's a problem in many locations. So I'm not going to just show these to you without giving you any advice on what you can do to secure your own. There is one way and one way only that I was able to get these guys, and that is because I was checking the Target app on the stock page for these guys. So apparently, the night before these actually are put on the shelves, the Target system at a local store will actually register that that store has gotten the stock in. It is in the stock room and ready to be put out. And because of that, you can actually get on the Target app and it should show the store pickup as an option that night before the store opens. I did this just the other night with this set you see before you, and that is the only way I was able to get this. Now, let's say a treacherous employee of some sort as some people have been calling him in the group, Scalpor. And let's say Scalpor, he gets out there and he's trying to grab one of these. Well, he's going to have to come up with an excuse for his manager and the stock system why this piece of stock that has been flagged as sold by the website, why he's not able to locate it. So this is a great way of getting the upper hand on that whole system and over any employee that may try to grab one of these. And it worked perfectly for me, and a big shout out to my brother for going to grab this because he lived closer to that target than I did. So it worked out really nicely. Hopefully this will work for you, and hopefully they don't change this by the time that you see this video, and hopefully this will give you a leg up. Let me know in the comments if that saves you over. I would love to know if it worked for you as well. I've actually done this with another store exclusive from Target just recently, and it also worked that way. It will not work with NECA Turtles stuff, though, because that whole stock system is very different than, say, something from Hasbro or Mattel, because there is a separate NECA vendor who is coming to deliver those turtle items, and that's where a lot of that problem's coming in. So overall, I would have to say that, store exclusivity and all the problems that come with that aside, also the funny issue of Keldor not necessarily being able to hold his sword, aside from these quibbles, I would have to say that this is a fantastic set. You get a really striking rendition of Keldor and a very, very nice rendition of Cronus. So these two guys together, I think, make a terrific set. Also, seeing something this obscure and this deep into the Masters continuity helps to give me a whole lot of confidence that hopefully Mattel is looking to really go deep with this line. And if this is any indication, I believe that they are. I mean, think about the number of characters and figures that we've received thus far. And this is one that certainly wasn't expected. Now we have an entire Castle Grayskull. Heck, we even got a land shark. I mean, it's really great what all they're doing. And it really does give me confidence that Mattel is going to go deeper and deeper. Just really give us some things that are really out there. Is Songster too much to hope for? Come on, guys. Can you make Lubick happen from the 87 movie? Listen, I hope so. I really hope that they go all out. And I would love to see just the crazy stuff that they come up with. And if this is any indication, then let's hope that they just keep going and keep rolling out the crazy stuff. Can Hero be far behind? Let's hope not. All right, guys, I thank you so much for watching today. Of course, you want to definitely check out our other Masters of the Universe Origins reviews. I did do a massive review of the Castle Grayskull playset that is proudly in the back. It's a beautiful set, and it's definitely something that I think you'll want to see in action in the review. I surely do appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Until next time, God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Take care, Fanboy out.